when I let them down my beard, I still look like Chewbacca because I got a big unibrow.
But he's the best part of those movies. So
Chewbacca's the best part of those movies?
yes.
Like
Are we not friends anymore?
Really comes from R2-D2. He says so much with a single beep.
No, I'm done. We're out.
Okay. So this podcast has ended before it starts. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Because Money. We're going to be mainly talking about Star Wars and who the best character is today. But we have with us Avraham Byers, and we're thrilled to have you along with Sandy Martin and John Robertson. And today we're going to talk about cash flow, among a whole bunch of other things. And I assume a lot of beard questions. I have so many beard questions. And I'm glad that we're just kind of getting to that right off the top. Because Sandy sent me your site a couple of weeks ago, and it's awesome. By the way, like I think I told you that in my email, but it's just great, and it's just your beard is featured in a wonderful way, and why shouldn't it be?
Right. But I'm a beardo.
Avraham also promised many a cheesy joke. We've had a couple before we started recording, and that's the first one while we've been going. And so count along from at home. It'll be perfect.
We need a dinger, ding,
ding. We'll add that in post. Add it in post. See if we can put a counter up in the corner.
That's you. That's all you.
Yeah, that's all me. I'll work on that one. But no, seriously, your stuff is great, and beard aside, but kind of the beard as an indicative thing. There's a lot. What you do now is not what you were doing before, and that's a classic story in finance in general. But why don't you tell us just a little bit about kind of your origin story, your Chewbacca style origin story?
My Chewbacca story. So basically, my origin was I was raised as a Catholic boy in Mississauga. And I became a Jewish boy in Bathurst and Wilson. And
awesome.
Truth be told is that when I was growing up, I was terrible at a lot of things. And one of them was money. I was terrible with money. But I thought, I gotta get my handle on these things. I gotta, the phone was ringing. There's lots of people trying to call me and trying to collect money from me because I owe tons of money to a lot of people. And I actually pulled the plug out of the wall, and I couldn't even the phone. Yeah, because I literally couldn't answer the phone anymore. And because the bank people calling you is nice, right? They're actually nice. Like, Mr. Byers, can you please pay us your money that you owe us? I'm like, not really. I can't afford it right now because I'm irresponsible. and I have no plan, no system how to do it, so I can't pay you. And then it goes to collections, and they say stuff like, Mr. Byers, I think you have to buy yourself some responsibility. And ding, right? That's not my ding, that's their ding. They ding that on me. And so when I heard that message, I literally pulled the phone out of the wall. I'm like, I'm done. That's it, finished. And I went into hiding for a long time. Didn't admit my financial failures for a while. On the outside, I looked cool, like a cool cucumber. I was dressed nice, looking really good. In Mississauga, and
of course.
But I hit rock bottom. I think everybody sort of hits their rock bottom. I hit my rock bottom, and it was like, I didn't have any credit cards left. I couldn't get anything, couldn't get a cell phone, nothing. I was a young guy. It's early, maybe late teens, early 20s when all this happened. The way it works, right? And you go to college, you have a credit card, $500, right? Credit card, $500. It means I could handle this, right?
Yeah.
But then they started raising my limits to $1,000, and then to $1,500, then to $3,000, and next thing you know, it's maxed out like $3,200, which doesn't sound like a lot of money these days to me. But when you're in college, first year college, and you have $3,200 of debt, and they start calling you, and you're not making them payments because you're just out to lunch with those things.
Yeah.
Forget it, I'm done with this. And so I hit rock bottom. I had to figure out a way to get out. And that's what I did basically. And the crazy thing was that when I was in college, I was working at the same time as a financial advisor. That's like
That's
the
what I was
worst
going
part
to
about it.
ask you about, because you mentioned that on your site, is that you kind of had this outside face of being the financial advisor, having it all together, but the other side was pulling the phone out of the wall.
Yeah, well, it's like you can't reach the financial advisor phone. I pulled out of the wall. I can only call you from the payphone. When they had payphones, you could maybe use my beeper. You could beep me if you want, but I can't. But I couldn't call you. But anyways, yeah. So you couldn't call me, but that's call my office. But that's about it. But my home line, it was not happening. I had a pile of
Nothing.
bills on my desk. I remember I was like, I can't handle this. Like I'm done with this.
Yeah.
I'm a financial mess. At the same time, people are coming to me. I'm getting advice on people's portfolios for $1 million. I was
Yeah.
a licensed financial advisor and dispensing all this great advice, which was really good advice, but my own finances were a mess. A mess.
Well, that's a really interesting thing, and I think that it harkens back to kind of a shades of gray within the issue. It's not, because we always talk about financial literacy being a big part of the problem, a big part of the solution, and the idea that people just need to know more. But it's more than that, right? Like you can know what the right answer is supposed to be, but there's a gap there. There's something that people can know, and you clearly knew kind of what the right things to do were, and yet it's not that simple. Like it must have felt a little strange to be like, yep, this is the right thing to do, and then go home and have that not be what your life was built around.
Right. It's like the formula is simple for losing weight, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
You intake less calories than you burn and you lose weight. If you
Yeah.
intake more calories than you burn, you gain weight. It's a simple
Yeah.
formula. And everybody can sort of say, okay, I need 2,000 calories. And, but the bottom line is there's the behavior gap.
100%.
So
100%. So that's got to be like the next thing that I found so interesting, kind of about the way you've positioned yourself and the way you market yourself and the work that you're doing, is that you're I'm not even sure, you don't call yourself a financial advisor, you call yourself a financial coach or a financial
trainer, like a
financial trainer.
like a personal fitness trainer, but for your finances, like Hans and Franz. Yeah.
I'm gonna call that a half ding. Hans and Franz deserve a reference whenever they can. No, but I find it so interesting because I totally agree with you that cash flow is something that's often skipped over. It's that idea. People will say, oh yeah, and you should spend less than you earn, and once you have a good budget, then we can talk about all the rest of the things. But then they'll talk about all the rest of the things, and you kind of leave out this really important step that is a lot of people are struggling with, and it's the same thing that I really struggled with. And so you're really putting yourself out there and saying, I just want to help you work on that first step, that cash flow, that budget, that kind of whatever you want to call it. This is what I do. This is the first step.
Well, I don't know about you, but when I hear the word budget, like it's like, ugh, it makes me want to hug the toilet. It's terrible. Like I don't want to start reusing my cellophane, or how to turning my egg cartons into pillows and stuff like that. Like I'm not into that stuff. I want to be normal. I don't want to be like this cheapo, because I'm not like that. I'm not built to be a cheapo. I'm built to be a normal guy who's going to drive a normal car, live in a normal house, and eat normal food, and spend stuff on normal things, right? So that's the challenge. The challenge is how do you budget without having to, squeeze yourself into that cheapo state and to become somebody that you're not.
And I'll throw it just a normal kind of misconception so that you can speak on it a little bit, because a lot of people believe that if they just make more money, that will solve the problem. Like the problem is that, budgets and that kind of thing, that's for people that aren't making a lot and are really kind of struggling. If they just make more, and wherever you're at, if you just make more, that will solve this problem. But that's not always the case.
Right.
So,
right.
What would you say to that kind of hope that a lot of people have, that problem will be fixed just by increasing income?
Well, if you think about it, even yourself, and it depends how old you are, but if you think about it as a 40-year-old or a 50-year-old, 15 years ago, you had the same thing. I just got to make more money. And probably now you are making more money. So if you're making more money now and you're in the same place or even worse off, then what's going on over here? Obviously, the making money thing doesn't really work. And for example, I've dealt with people that have made really good income, 7-figure income. That's major money, serious dollars, but at the same time they have serious debt at the same time. And it's not really about making the money. Now, I do believe, I should mention, that there is a threshold, there is a number
Yeah.
that that if you make below that number, it's really tough. It's to budget, it's really difficult.
Yeah.
And maybe your goal is to go above that number to earn more money. That is maybe that challenge. But I'm not going to talk about people that need to make more money. I want to talk about people that are already making
Totally.
good money, but for some reason it's just not working out in a day. Their money's just going poof. Like,
Yeah.
wow, like what happened to it? Like I should have thousands left over every month,
Yeah.
but I have like nothing. So how do you fix that problem?
Yeah. I think that's the perfect question. How do you fix that problem?
It's a great question.
Because I feel like it's a question that's the big question that your whole practice is built around. That kind of, what do you do? How do you help somebody do that? Right.
Right, absolutely, 100%. And so I create this concept called your magic number. It's the easiest thing possible, but to explain to you in simple terms, basically, imagine this. Imagine every day I say, okay, you know what? I'm going to go to Chris's house. That's you,
Love
Chris, or Sandy. Could be anybody, right? But I'm going to go to one of your.
It's far. I'm so much closer.
You know what though? I wouldn't mind driving to 400 every day. I like that drive.
There you go.
Lovely. If you get to add the DVP on top of it, it's way better.
The joke, by the way, here in Toronto. The joke is one time there was a guy, and he just came to Toronto from another city, and he says, "I don't understand one thing over here." He said, "You have something called a parkway and something called a driveway, but on the parkway you're like driving, and on the driveway you're parking. I don't get it really." And somebody said to him, no, you haven't been here long enough, sir. You have to understand that really you do park in the parkway and you do drive in the driveway. So back to our question of me going to Sandy or your house or anybody's house. I'm going to your house, right? The idea is I ring your doorbell every single day. Ding dong, put something in for that. Make a ding dong there. Ding dong, right? And who's there? Avram's here, right? And what does he have? I have $150 cash for you in my hand. And I'm going to give that to you every day. So in the morning, you're, I don't know, Chris, what do you eat in the morning? Cheerios? Wheaties?
I'm on like a fruit salad for breakfast every morning. Grapefruit and oranges and a little bit of
citrus diet.
Some vegetable. I've gone European.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, fine. Yeah. Very good. Very good. So European. So you're a European guy. So I travel to you and I give you your 150 euros every day, and I drop it off, right? And you say, "Oh, thank you, Avram," or Avraham, whichever you want to call my name. And I say, "Okay, that's awesome. There you go. Thank you so much." And I scoot back and I scoot back to my house. The next morning, though, you're having your fruit salad again, and I scoot over to your house and I knock on your door, ring your doorbell, and you open the door. Who is it? Guess. It's Avraham.
Avraham.
Or Avram. And I give you 150 euros again, or 150 bucks, whatever you want to call it, right? And you get that, you're like, "Oh, thank you so much."
Yeah.
Now, the whole goal is that every day I'm going to give you the $150 or euros, whatever you prefer. I think the euros are worth a lot more, but take the 150 something, right?
Yeah.
And you get that. And the main thing is, if you only spend $100 that day, because you still got 50 bucks in your wallet. And I drop off another 150 every single day. And you let it build and build and build and get bigger and bigger. So that's the idea of your magic number. It's magical because Avram will go to your house and give it to you every day. It's amazing. It's like magic. Poof. But the real thing is that people always ask me, "Avraham, just tell me what I need to spend and I'll spend that. In other words, give me my financial sandbox and I'll play in it."
Yeah.
Although as a kid, I always used to get the sand and throw it out. Like, my parents like, no, don't throw it out. I'm like, throwing out all the sand. The sandbox, you get really empty it all into the grass. But yeah, don't do
within
that.
this metaphor, we're not talking about that. We're talking about a standard. You can eat it. You can do whatever else you want with the sandbox, but it's got to stay in the sandbox.
You gotta stay in the sandbox, exactly. So that's your financial sandbox, basically, and basically it's just a number. It's a daily number that you get, and there's a big difference between daily, weekly, and monthly. I should mention.
Yeah.
The idea of having like a monthly. Oh, by the way, a special little announcement. You could download the ebook at yourmagicnumber.com. You can put like some sort of music around that if you want.
Oh, I'm so excited about sound effects now. We'll have another like. I'll just do them myself.
You can even start off with like a Star Wars theme. And that's not it. That's like the things going back. I don't know, whatever.
I could sing my CRM.
We don't have money for Disney lawyers.
Yeah, that's true.
Start off with THX. I love that sound. The THX. You do that because that is way better than anything out there.
That's true. That's like guaranteed anybody's gonna listen after that sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, like oh, this has to be good, and then it goes to the podcast like, oh, what's that all about? No, but
fair.
No, but seriously, like the way that I sort of view it is that so the way and how you figure out that number is also easy peasy. The way to figure out the number is so simple. What you do, it takes like maybe an hour of your time. That's it to set this whole thing up. It's really simple. You take your net income. That's like the money that you make after taxes, right?
Yeah.
After you get that number, you subtract all your fixed expenses. Things that are like your hydro bill, your taxes for your house or your apartment or condo, insurances, so on and so forth. And what you also want to take off is other expenses as well. There are expenses like unexpected expenses that you sort of pop over there, as well. And consider all those fixed expenses. Now, the rule of thumb that I call a fixed expense is things that you don't take your wallet out for, typically speaking, except for unexpected expenses, because they're just so big sometimes that if I give you $150 every day and then you get dinged at the car repair for $1,000, it'll kill you. Like you'd be like, like totally toasted, right? So the idea is that you sort of subtract all those off of it, so you get your annual net income, take off all of your annual fixed expenses, and then from there, what you have left is your magic number for the year, right? Yeah. You divide that by 365, and then you get your magic number, basically, which is your daily amount that you can spend on anything you want, guilt-free, because you know that all that stuff's taken care of already. Including retirement savings, which is also quote unquote a fixed expense, including debt repayment if you have any debt, put that up there as well. And that's how it works, basically.
No, I like that. And I think that I really like what you're saying, that a lot of people just want, and I felt this way too, specifically recently when I was looking to up my fitness level a little bit. And I was just looking out and I was being like, I just want rules to follow. Somebody give me some rules, tell me what to do, and I'll just do them. I just need to know what to do and I'll be fine. So that's really what you're saying. You're saying, okay, we're going to make sure that all the stuff that needs to be covered is covered. And then we're going to hand you what's left so that you don't have to think at all. You can blow it on whatever you want. You can keep it in a jar. You can spend it every day. It's totally fine. But it kind of clearly cuts the rules so that you know what you can do. Right?
Exactly. That's it.
So my question would be, and I was reading this and I love the way, I'll half plug the ebook too. It's really simple. It really guides you through everything. And it's not one of these ebooks that like you feel like it has the first half and it's like, well, the rest of it, it's like, it's everything you need to get your magic number, to think through things. It's all there. And it gives you the tools that you need to do that. But the one question I had, and you were talking about, so you have this magic number, this daily magic number, $150. You talked about using cash. How is the actual practicality of you getting that money and kind of keeping track of that money? I'm not a big cash guy. So I expend mainly on credit. Do you recommend cash, or how do you kind of talk to clients and people about how to use that magic number kind of practically from day to day?
I feel like I'm the only guy that recommends not only using cash. That I think that being normal, right, is having a credit card, using a credit card. it's convenient. I don't know. Try to pay for parking. I guess you can still pay for parking without a credit card, but there's like, I don't know.
Sometimes.
Can you have a cell phone without a credit card? I don't know. Maybe is that possible? I don't know. But I whatever it is,
Sure.
it's try renting a car without a credit card. That
Yeah.
stuff. There's a lot of different things that go into it. So a credit card is definitely what I call convenient. It's more of a convenience card if you're not using credit on it. But so the way that I have it at the end of the ebook, another plug, ding ding, is that there's a sheet to actually calculate your match number, and then on top of that, there's a tracker. Now
Yeah.
I believe really in pen and paper,
Yeah.
tracking. Now there's actually an iPen, so it's not really more like this, like that, right? And so use pen and paper. I believe pen and paper beats apps any day, and there's
Yeah.
a tracker at the back. So basically, it's simply at the top of the tracker. If you can imagine, you have a number. Let's say it's 150, and let's say you filled up the gas for, I don't know, $50, right?
Yeah.
That's all you did. So literally, you write in there, you get your wallet out, and you stuff the receipt in your wallet. When you come home from work or whatever your daily routine is, come home, you take out the receipt or receipts, and most people have like 3, 4 receipts. So this shouldn't
Yeah.
take you more than 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes every day, like nothing major. You just get your pen, right? And you write down gas, $50, and then transfer over that 100 to your next day, because I'm knocking again on your door again, knocking. Avram's coming for another $150.
Yeah.
And that the next month you have. So if you have, here's the math, guys. Let's see who's going to get it first, right? You have 150 at the beginning of the day. You spend 50. How much do you have left?
83.71.
Yeah, you are good.
I nailed it, right?
If you,
Well, I was doing the euro to Canadian dollar math, the conversion based on the average of the last month and prorated forward for what I expect the markets to do.
Bond yields.
Yeah,
I think everybody think that Chris deserves a quarter ding for that, guys. A quarter ding for that joke. Ding, ding. But so you have $100 left, right, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And you carry that over to the next day, so you got 250, right? The 150 plus 150 I come with plus $100 is left over.
Yeah.
I give the analogy of bringing cash because it's easy, but you can use debit card, you can use your credit card, you could even use your Discover card if you want.
Whoa.
Wait, but what about Diners Club?
Oh, Diners Club. Yes. As a joke, I ask people sometimes, you guys take the Diners Club? They're like, what is that?
There has to be somebody that still takes it, right? Somebody or does the Diners Club, is that gone now? Is that finished? Are they?
I have no idea.
Okay,
I'm gonna have to get somebody to take one.
Yeah, exactly. So every time somebody comes to me and is like, "Oh, I got this Amex. It's got amazing points." I'm like, "Yeah, that's great. I can't spend it anywhere around my house, so those points mean nothing. But it's awesome that you have it. Hopefully, your grocery store is different than mine."
Yeah, the no frills doesn't really take the Amex.
No, and they don't even take Visa anymore, right?
No, they're
Anyway.
whatever. Anyways,
yeah. So what I was going to ask you,
where's our thing on the bottom says we're not affiliated to any of this stuff? Like, you need something like a roll tape on the bottom, like warning.
This is great. I have all of the direction for editing this. It's just built in. I know exactly what I need to do. So what I find interesting, and this is something that I really believe too, is that the hard work of this is not the setting your number. It's not the figuring out how much you need to do daily. There's a little bit of work there, whether you're helping somebody do that or whether somebody's doing it on their own. The hard work of this, and you talk about this on your site too, and in your ebook, it's the behavior side. It's the habit side. It's we know what we need to do to be healthy. We know what we need. If you have this system, this financial sandbox, it's really just about playing in it. It's just about actually and doing that tracking that you're saying, whether it take 10 or 15 minutes a day or not. There's a ton of things that I could accomplish if I only did them for 10 minutes a day. And yet I do none of them. So how do you help people build up positive behaviors, or what can people do on their own to make these habits work and not just talk about how they're a good idea?
Right. So one great idea is coupling or triggering behaviors with behaviors. So what I mean by that is, if you have, let's say, for example, you're like, okay, I wash the dishes every night before I go to bed, or let's call it washing dishes, right? So what you might want to do is you might want to couple this with that, saying, okay, I can't handle having a messy kitchen when I wake up in the morning. I know I gotta do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have that binder that I'm going to write my magic number tallies in every day. I'm going to put that right by in the kitchen so that before I do my dishes, I'm going to track my magic number, and that will give me permission to then do my dishes. That's one idea. The other idea is that you could set up maybe like a stick contract with a buddy, right? Or with well, it's kind of hard with a buddy, but I would do it. They do with me like stick contracts, for example. Somebody set up a stick. You know what stick contracts is?
I
Anybody
don't
know?
know a stick contract. No.
Okay, so stick contract is the coolest thing invented by behavioral economics. They basically what they did is they felt that they know that the pain of loss is much greater than the gain of pleasure, right?
Yeah.
So for example, if you like say like okay, Sandy, what I'm going to do for you is Chris, what I want you to do for me every day is I want you to sing me Mona Lisa. And if you see me Mona Lisa, I'll give you $10 every day if you sing Mona Lisa. So that's a behavior.
That's about $10 more than your average singer gets for singing anything. So it's perfect.
So then I say to you, okay, that's one motivator. That's one motivator. So let's say, for example, I say, Chris, I'm going to, if you don't sing Mona Lisa for me, I'm going to take $10 out of your wallet.
Yeah.
Right. The $10 out of your wallet is a bigger motivator statistically than if I gave you $10 or something, because you feel like you're losing something, right? Yeah. That's why everybody pays off their mortgage, because they're afraid they're going to lose their house, right? That's one of the ideas. So the idea of loss. So what they do is they take that science and that behavioral science, and what they do is they couple that with something called a stick contract. What a stick contract is they put some money on the line, and then you choose what they call an anti-charity. An anti-charity basically is something that you hate. I'm not political over here, but I actually called them up and asked them what the most popular anti-charity you could choose is, and they told me it's the George Bush Library. That's what they told me. So basically, what you do is you choose something that you don't agree with, you don't like, and if you forfeit what you're going to do, so whether it be doing 10 jumping jacks a day, or singing Mona Lisa to Avraham, or tracking your magic number, then what you do is you lose that money. It goes to that anti-charity that you don't want that money to go to, which is like even worse than like giving to like a friend, right? Or you could choose a foe, somebody you don't like, and you can actually make that money go to the person you don't like. So like the person that you don't even like is like, why am I getting all these checks from Chris? Like, what's all this money coming to me from Chris?
It's probably the best way to turn somebody who you don't like and who
friends.
Doesn't like you into a friend.
It's magic in so many ways.
It's magic in many ways. Right. So, to have like little motivators like that, like to attach, your tracking to something that you're currently doing that you really want to do, and you don't give yourself permission to do it until you track. Another thing is that you could do like a stick contract, which is like stick, I think with 2 Ks, stickk.com. That is not affiliated to me either, but you could do that for anything. They have weight loss, people quitting smoking, exercise, whatever it might be. That's all in there. And they have like millions and millions and millions of dollars on the line, like millions. I'm not sure what's up to now, but last time I checked, there's like $7 million on the line at one point.
Wow.
And all people, and statistically, it works a lot better. I think they say it's 2 or 3 times better. Some study out there said that.
Interesting.
That's very much like John's evil genius idea. We did an episode about financial change at the beginning of the year, and John was like, well, you just set up an email like on a timer to send to like all of your family and tell them kind of what a huge failure you are if you don't do this.
There you go. See,
it's from the same behavioral studies.
Oh, we all read the same behavioral studies.
I like the specificity of quoting. And like it says in behavioral studies.
Coastal elites.
Yeah. Coastal elites. That's interesting though. And I didn't realize, I'd heard about that kind of thing before, but I didn't actually know where to find them. So it's stick.com with 2 Ks?
2 Ks, yeah, 2Ks.com. Another thing is you could get your spouse on board. That's a big one, by the way. If you have a spouse on board, they hold you accountable a little more, and especially if your spouse is more into it. Finance is like a 3-legged race, right? Have you done the 3-legged race, Yeah. It's almost as cool as potato sack racing. But they taught, basically anybody who hasn't done 3-legged racing, anybody who has not done 3-legged racing, basically what you do is there's 2 people, you stand side by side, and that middle leg that you're connecting with, you tie a rope around it, and you try to run and win the race. But the truth is, with finances, is if one of you falls down, the other one also falls down. That's just the way it works. But if you have two people that are in tandem and say, "Let's go, let's do it," and they're really doing a good job at it, then you win. So the idea is that you and your spouse come together at the table and around a system. Now, it doesn't have to be your magic number system. I just think that's the easiest system out there.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion. But if anybody finds a system that's easy for them, that's the main thing, is to find something that you both agree with, say like, oh, this makes complete sense to both of us. Let's do it. And the last thing you could do is you could hire somebody to help you out with that.
Yeah.
So when people hire you, when people hire you, like when you're working with clients and something happens and they have, for whatever reason, I'm sure that you don't let your clients do this, but let's say they just kind of stop with the tracking for a while and they just feel they have that sense of personal failure and now I'm really confused and where do I start? Like how do you get them back to just like, look, let's just get back to the simple tracking magic number system?
Right. So I have lots of good ammunition for that, such as like pull off my thumb trick to get them back in the comical moment of me. But but beyond the pull out the thumb trick, basically you can't, when it comes down to people, most normal people out there don't want to be yelled at.
Yeah.
We all fail. I've failed so many times at so many things I've done in my life, right? But the main thing is, and seriously, the main thing is not to beat yourself up to the point where you can't get back up. Talk to yourself to the point where you're like, okay, that'll motivate you. But a lot of times we literally like beat ourselves up more than anybody would ever say anything. Like nobody would ever say anything to us like we say to ourselves. And it's the worst thing we could do. Like we said, okay, I failed. It's over. I'm never going to do this. I'm a failure. I'm never, like, I thought my whole life I was going to be a financial failure. Honestly, I really thought that. I believe that 100%, that I was never going to nail this financial thing ever. Even when I was a financial advisor, I'm like, I'm just doomed to be like this, right? But I had to stop talking and beating myself up to such a point that I had to get real and say, this is not helping me out. Like this way of talking to myself has to be uplifted. I have to talk to myself. It doesn't mean I'm Tony Robbins all day saying, you can do it. You're awesome. I'm not talking like that. What I'm talking about is like realistic things. Okay, listen, you messed up. Okay. You know what that means? That means that you're human. It means that you're human, and that's okay. What's not okay is just to sit on the floor and beat yourself up so you feel bad about yourself even more and put yourself in this vicious cycle. No, the main thing is to get yourself back up. So I use like cheesy jokes to do that for people, like a little bit. I talk to them like from heart to heart, just say, listen, I get it. I've done it myself. One of the worst things that could happen is some financial guy or girl going out there and just saying like, hey, just do this, do that. But they're from like the, ivory tower. They've never done it before in their life. Like they're just giving this advice, and I'm not going to say any advice, but whatever it is, the advice that people give is just like, I know you've never done this before. I know you've never felt what it's like to actually fail with your finances. You don't know what that feels like. You know how embarrassing it is, that I have this like, that I look great and I feel like really happy outside, but really over top of me always is a cloud with thunder and rain pouring down on me. And it could be the sunniest day in Los Angeles, and I'm still running around drenched, soaking with water, feeling terrible. And the goal is not to ignore like I did before, like just ignore stuff and let your pills, your pills. Oh boy, I need a pill. You need, like your bills pile up, and pulling your phone out of the socket, like that's not going to work. What you have to do is say, listen, okay, this is a situation that I'm in. I just got to fix it, and that's it. And I just got to do step number one and put one friend in front of the other and just do it, and that's it. And you're going to fail, and know when you start anything that it's not going to be smooth, and know from the get-go that you're going to have some failures along the way.
Yeah.
And be realistic about it, and don't beat yourself up, because you can't.
No, that's basically the perfect thing. And that's like the perfect thing for anybody to hear who's just starting out, is specifically if they're in the stage that you're talking about, just feeling really control, kind of that cash flow level, and just not knowing what happens, and just a reminder that you're human, you're going to mess up. rocky and weird for a while, and the less you can judge that, and the less you can waste energy beating up on yourself, the better. That's awesome. And I think that a great place to start for anybody who's in that situation is with your ebook. I think it's awesome that they can download it at
yourmagicnumber.com.
yourmagicnumber.com. Yeah, I really loved it. And I think that anybody who's looking for help should really give it a try. Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming in and chatting about cash flow today.
You guys are awesome. This is so much fun. Can we do this every day?
This is what
if you bring 150 euros.
Wait a minute, 150 euros. That's 197.34. That's a maintenance. No. Okay.
Quarter ding.
Ding. Ding.
I've got a half a ding. Avraham's got about 7 to 10 dings. So, I think we'll leave it there, and my loss will only go to educate me further. Thank you so much for joining us.
Can I tell you one joke before we leave? Just one joke.
You have
That's
to.
the perfect place.
Okay, fine. So what? Maybe I told this to Sandy. So Sandy, pretend you never heard it before. Okay. So what did the custodian say when he jumped out of the closet?
I don't know. What did the custodian say when he jumped out of the closet?
Oh, you're so good, Sandy. Any guesses?
Of course not.
No.
I fail at all guesses.
Supplies.
Ding 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 ding.
Everybody, let's do a seal clap. Everybody, seal clap.
Goodbye.